South Africa has long flirted with the label of a gangster state, but recent revelations may have stripped away any remaining doubt. At the heart of it, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the KZN Police Commissioner who told the Madlanga Commission that senior officials, including Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibia, interfered in investigations, removed dockets and blocked arrests to shield a powerful crime syndicate and drug cartel operating in Gauteng. He's not alone. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula and Crime Intelligence Boss Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo have also testified. While the nation followed these explosive hearings, SIU head advocate Andy Mutibi also released an interim report into Tembisa Hospital, revealing in chilling detail what these syndicates are so desperate to protect. Like moths to a flame, they converged on the hospital, leaving a trail of threats, assassinations, and cover-ups in their wake. In this episode, I argue that all is not lost, as South Africans from all walks of life are fighting back hard. Hello everyone, welcome back to Joe Talks Politics. I am your host, Joseph Mosia. Let's get right into this. It's no secret that South Africa's economy is in serious trouble. Millions are unemployed, and the government is struggling to deliver even basic services. Despite countless promises made during every election cycle, the situation remains unchanged. The president continues to assure us that plans are in place to fix the economy and urges us to be patient. But what are ordinary people, who have already shown immense patience and understanding, supposed to do when they watch others grow unimaginably wealthy? Not through innovation or hard work, but by stealing the very funds meant to uplift the poor. Many of these individuals hold positions of public trust at local, provincial, and national levels of government. Yet when faced with a bribe from a criminal syndicate, their conscience doesn't even flicker. This is the story of Tembisa Hospital. It is also the story of the Madlanga Commission. It is the story of state capture. And it is a story repeated thousands of times across the country. So the government provides money for life-saving equipment during one of the most devastating health crises, not just in South Africa, but throughout the world. And this is when these vile individuals see their chance to strike. And like the vultures they are, they leave only bare bones. Listen to the Special Investigations Unit Head Advocate Mutibi during the media briefing on Monday, providing a preliminary report on what they found so far.
The investigation really highlights a comprehensive disregard for duty by officials at Tembisa and the department. Those responsible for procurement ignored fundamental regulations. Accounting officers abdicated their oversight role entirely. The failure of officials to perform their duties allowed for the unchecked spending of public funds with no verification of whether what was procured was necessary or represented fair value for the state. In a sense, officials were active participants in the malpractice or turned a blind eye, effectively allowing the public purse to be looted through a combination of maladministration, corruption, and collusion with third parties.
This failure by officials to perform their duties opened gates for the wolves. Mutibi names some of those who scored big.
We have uncovered a syndicate that's referred to as the Maumela Syndicate. And we are mentioning this surname Maumela simply because It has already been publicized. There has been an asset forfeiture order that was announced of Maumela Syndicate. So the Maumela Syndicate refers to the syndicate that is linked to Hangwani Morgan Maumela. The SIU is reviewing 1,728 bundles worth 816 million related to the Maumela Syndicate and has completed to date 924 analyses, uncovering significant irregularities. So the SIU has traced about 41 suppliers or service providers linked to this Maumela Syndicate. Maumela's identified assets amount to around 520 million, including luxury vehicles and properties valued at 293 million. Notable properties include about a 75 million property in Bantry Bay and various others in Gauteng. The SIU has assisted the National Prosecuting Authority, asset forfeiture, to identify assets linked to Maumela, which has resulted in the NPA's asset forfeiture unit preserving some of the Maumela's assets. These assets include the following. We're not mentioning sort of all of them, but you can find them in the order that was issued. The property in Hartbeespoort, Northwest, 2 properties in Sandton, Gauteng, property in Zimbali Estate, Balito, Durban, and KwaZulu-Natal, 2 twin tower properties in Cape Town, Western Cape, and some of the motor vehicles include Lamborghini, Urus, Lamborghini Hurricane, Lamborghini Aventador. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. These are some of the vehicles names that is very difficult to announce. And another Lamborghini Urus, Bentley Continental, Isuzu D-Max, a multi-purpose trailer, Badger Fire Blast CC, Regency 250 LE boat. As I indicated, that there are further assets that have been freezed by AFU, but I'm pleased to announce that we really wanted to mention further assets and other vehicles that we would have freezed, but we wanted to make sure that we follow the legal process and institute those proceedings in the special tribunal. We did so. We had hoped for the order at the latest by Friday, or at least the weekend. That order came in only this morning at 9 o'clock, where the special tribunal has granted the SIU an order to freeze further assets of Maumela to a tune of 500 million, I'm informed by our legal officials.
While Maumela is definitely the big fish in this particular case, one of the smaller fish in his syndicate happens to be someone who is a subject of scrutiny at the Nhlanhla Commission.
3 of the companies that were awarded contracts to the value of 13,538,292 in this syndicate are linked to Vusi Muzi Matlala. So this Vusi Muzi Matlala would have come in as part of the syndicate that, according to our evidence, is really led by this Maumela.
According to evidence at the Nhlanhla Commission, Matlala is a powerful individual who has managed to buy politicians and senior police officers. These, in turn, have gone out of their way to ensure that he has free rein. Here's National Police Commissioner Fanima Sebula giving evidence.
Now one understands the reason why Lieutenant General Sibia and the Minister, Brown Mkhwanazi and Ket Matlala, wanted to disband the team. There was no any other motive, but to prevent the investigation against the cartels in Gauteng that are involved in murder, drugs, and so on.
Babita Deokaran was a senior finance officer in the Gauteng Department of Health who exposed large-scale corruption in COVID-19 PPE procurement, especially irregular and suspicious payments tied to the Tembisa Hospital. She was murdered on 23 August 2021 outside her home in Johannesburg after dropping off her daughter at school. A killing viewed widely as a targeted hit connected to her whistleblowing. Both Mothibi and Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi hailed Deokaran's bravery, which they said led to the discovery of this massive corruption that runs into billions of rands.
We wouldn't have done this to this stage had it not been for the whistleblowers who really risk their lives. And we know, I still repeat, the intervention and the contribution of Babita Deokaran really saw us kickstart this investigation to where we are today.
It is easy for anyone looking at the scale and brazen nature of the corruption to believe that South Africa is a land ruled by gangsters and other scum. My view is slightly different though. I believe that South Africans are not folding their arms in despair and allowing the road to continue unchallenged. I believe that they are fighting back. The list of courageous individuals who work tirelessly to bring these scoundrels to book is growing. People like Babita Deokaran and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The scores of journalists and non-governmental organizations who have dedicated themselves to uncovering the malfeasance. For many of these individuals, it comes at great personal cost. Yet they go on, because it is not for personal glory, but a deep sense of justice that they do what they do. They understand that those they are pursuing have too much to lose and will not hesitate to remove anyone or anything that represents a stumbling block. Listen to this touching story by Health Minister Motsoaledi about an individual of immeasurable courage. The clip is a bit long, but I believe it gives one a clear understanding of what I mean when I say there are many South Africans who refuse to be cowed into submission by thieves, plunderers, and murderers.
In Home Affairs, our Babita Deokaran was a gentleman who was commonly known as Mr. T. It's not because of your legalities, advocate. It's because he has got a very complex vendor name which will twist the tongues of those who are not from Limpopo. So they just call him Mr. T. He was working at the biggest refugee reception center in the country. And he discovered corruption there. A very diligent gentleman who hates corruption with all its manifestations. And when he testifies against an official, that official is gone. There's no way you'll survive. He's very diligent, he keeps records. If he appears in front of a tribunal or whatever to testify, you are gone. And the so-called small fish, people who are working in that reception center are very, very junior, as you're saying, advocate. This small fish decided, just like here in Tembisa, they decided that Babita must go, must be removed forever. They also decided that Mr. T must go. And a few days before he was due to testify against some 11 officials, they sent an assassin who pumped 4 bullets into Mr. T. And Mr. T was taken to hospital, to ICU, and he survived those bullets. He was given a 6 months leave And after 6 months, he came back. He started where he has left off. He continued doing exactly what he was doing before he was shot. And 2 days before he was due to testify again, 2 more bullets were pumped into him. And just like the first 4 bullets, he survived them. Mr. T survived. And how I knew about him? We had a very strong counter-corruption unit in Home Affairs. They just told me that there is a Mr. T who has just retired minister, and this is what happened to him. And we want you to visit him. And so that he must realize that he has not been thrown away or thrown to the wolves because he's in hiding. I visited Mr. T, as you remember, advocate. I sat with him for 2 hours. When he finished his story, I said, wow, this is not for me. From what he told me, I decided not to go to the police. I went to Advocate Muti. I said, this is bigger than me, Advocate. Come and listen to this man. And I took him there, somewhere within the Republic of South Africa, to talk to Mr. T. And when he listened to his story, he said, wow. He went to fetch his team to come and sit with him. And when they finished, they went straight to a judge who did not hesitate from the information Mr. T gave, who did not hesitate to give an order for a search and seizure. Many of you in the media attended that. The search and seizure at the Maraba Start Reception Center. It used to have the name of Desmond Tutu. It has been changed. And it was 10 days before the elections last year. And people thought it was just electioneering. They told me so. Many journalists told me this is just electioneering. Nothing will come out of it. Now, why am I relating this story? Because Babita did exactly what Mr. T was doing, and she lost her life. Mr. T did not lose his life, but he's in hiding. He's in hiding. He can't live a free life. The people who killed Babita and who put Mr. T in hiding are driving Lamborghinis. Lamborghini Urus and the ones you couldn't pronounce, advocate. They are living a free life. Now, what type of country are we going to become? That the public servants, who are the real public servants, are the ones that are in hiding, and the scavengers are driving Lamborghinis. Surely none of us will like to live in that type of country. I know what I'm going to say. Many of you here might criticize me, but I'm going to say it anyway. When things like this happen, you start appreciating why the Chinese execute people to remove them from society. You start appreciating it. I'm not saying we can do it. We're a different country. But you start appreciating and understanding why they go to that extent. Because they don't want to live in hiding and let the thugs run amok. When Mr. T, when I visited him, he was still testifying. He testified by virtual. Even now, as I'm talking, still having cases where he's testifying by virtual. I asked him, Mr. T, why you survived twice and he's still having bullets in his body, which doctors may not remove because they are in very sensitive places of the body and they will kill him if they try to remove them. I asked him, why do you still continue even after surviving twice? He gave me two answers that are still shaking me. He said, Minister, people fought for this freedom and lost their lives. I am not about to give the freedom to the thugs in this country. I may as well lose my life. That will be my contribution to this country. That's what he told me. The second thing was very religious. When Mr. T was shot for the second time, he was just leaving church. Just as he stepped out of the church, they pumped the two bullets. Very religious. So the second reason he gave me, he said, Minister, why did I survive twice? Whoever is controlling life and death must have decided that I must be having a purpose in life. That's why he left me here. That's why he didn't take me away. Because I must still do something for this country. And so I'm going to continue doing it.
South Africa stands at a crossroads. On one path, impunity and lawlessness threaten to drag the country into complete collapse. On the other, a difficult but necessary journey towards accountability and justice. The fight is far from over. But if this podcast leaves you with anything, let it be this. We are not powerless. The courage shown by people like Babita Deokaran and Mr. T must not be in vain. It must be a call to action for civil society, for honest officials, and for every South African who refuses to be governed by fear. The fact that corruption is exposed with so much regularity, that the syndicate leaders are in prison or are having their assets confiscated, speaks to the country's refusal to let evil prevail. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. If you are not yet a subscriber, please consider doing so. We are within reach of the 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. See you in the next one.